What actually happens after the camera is turned off? Why is it that Jungkook, who has always been known to be strong and always smiling in front of the public, is finally unable to hold back his tears? The questions began to circulate when a piece of a story accidentally revealed and made the army around the world silent. It all started from a seemingly ordinary moment. Jungkook closed his activities like any other day, without any hint that his heart was in turmoil. But it was precisely behind that silence that a message came. Not a long, dramatic message, not too many words. Just a simple sentence from Taehyung, sent secretly, as if it was intended for only one person, Jungkook. It's not just a reminder, it's a sincere acknowledgement of togetherness, of the tiredness that never goes away, and of the promise to be there, no matter what. Small hints begin to appear when Jungkook looks more reserved than usual. His smile remained, but his eyes said something else. Many thought it was just fatigue, until it was finally revealed that after the message, Taehyung came unannounced.
No camera glare, no crowds.
Just two friends facing each other in honest silence. The hug just happened. Not far-fetched, not planned. A hug that seemed to be a safe place after so long Jungkook carried everything alone. That's where the tears fall. Not because of sadness, but because of relief. For the first time, Jungkook allowed himself to be fragile, and Taehyung chose not to say anything, just hugging tighter. What makes the heart cut is not the crying itself, but the reason behind it. Jungkook is said to feel guilty for always looking strong, for fear of disappointing many people, and for rarely giving himself space. Taehyung's message shatters that wall gently, reminding her that it's okay to be weak, it's okay to cry, and it's okay to lean back. When this story was finally implied to the public, the reaction was unstoppable. Many realized that behind the glitter of the stage and the cheers, there is a much deeper human bond. A relationship that does not need recognition, does not need proof, only a consistent presence in the quietest moments. Jungkook's tears that night were not a sign of destruction, but rather proof that he still had a place to go home. And in a world that constantly demands perfection, one message and one hug from Taehyung serve as the most painful and beautiful reminder yet. Even idols are still human, and sometimes all they need most is someone who says, "I'm here." The story does not stop at tears alone. After the hug, the atmosphere turned calmer, almost silent, as if both understood that the moment did not need to be filled with many words. Jungkook took a deep breath, trying to calm himself down, while Taehyung stayed by his side, not moving, as if to make sure that he really wasn't alone that night. There is one further sentence that is then implied and makes many people silent again when this story starts to be discussed. Taehyung is said to whisper softly, reminding Jungkook of the long journey they've been on together, of the uncertain early days, and of an old promise to take care of each other, even when the world feels too heavy. That simple sentence is precisely the biggest emotional shock because it comes from someone who understands every wound without the need to explain. Another clue appeared the next day. Jungkook appears with a different aura. He was still smiling, still joking as usual, but there was a new gentleness in his way of speaking. Some fans noticed his eyes looked clearer, as if a long-stored weight had finally lifted slightly. There were no official statements, no clarifications, but the changes felt real to those who watched closely. Behind the scenes, their relationship again became a heated discussion, not as a sensation, but rather as a story of empathy and support rarely seen amid the pressures of the industry. Many eventually understood that Jungkook's strength had come not only from himself, but also from the people who silently supported him as he nearly fell. This story also leaves one question that continues to resonate. How many similar moments have we never seen? How many tears fall without witnesses? And how many hugs save a person from fatigue that has been harbored for too long? The unfolding of Taehyung's message and embrace is not just an emotional story, but a reminder that behind the spotlight and expectations, there is a friendship that works in silence, and perhaps, precisely there lies its strength. Not on what is announced to the public, but on the little things that are done without anyone needing to know. Short messages, sincere hugs, and a faithful presence. all of which eventually became the reason why Jungkook's tears that night turned into the beginning of a new calm. As time went on, the story continued to live in the whispers of fans, not because of the sensation, but because of the frankness. Many began to associate the moment with some small gesture that was previously missed. The song sung by Jungkook with a deeper tone, a short pause before he smiled in front of the camera, to the way he said Taehyung's name with a different intonation. Now it all seems to have a new meaning. What makes this story even more thrilling is the fact that none of them tried to take advantage of it as a public concern. No dramatic uploads, no made-up words. It was precisely the silence that became the biggest emotional shock. In an all-open world, they choose to keep that most fragile moment as something sacred. For many, Jungkook's tears became a mirror of how often a person is forced to be strong, even when his heart is on the verge of collapse. And Taehyung's message, originally intended for just one person, now feels like a universal reminder that caring doesn't always have to be big or visible. Sometimes the right words at the right time can save more than we can imagine. Until now, the full details of the message remained a mystery. But that's exactly where his strength lies. The public is not given everything, just enough pieces to understand that something very human has happened. A moment when two figures who are always seen shining on stage again become themselves, tired, honest, and in need of each other. And maybe that's why this story is so compelling. Not because of the tears that fell, but because of the courage to cry. Not because the hug is revealed, but because the hug is real. Behind all the spotlight, Taehyung's silent messages and hugs have left an invisible, yet palpable imprint not just for Jungkook, but for anyone who has ever felt alone in silence.